It's high early cash value time. Today, we are going to look at case study number 2, which is very similar to the last case study in which we examined the traditional Whole Life 100 product, except for now, we're going to look at a high early cash value product, and we're going to look at the same 3 scenarios, A, B, and C. What does the policy look like in terms of the cash value if we allocate 100% of our funding toward the premium, 50% of our funding toward the premium, or 10% of our funding toward the premium? And what that means, if you pick option C, for example, 10% of the funding, which the funding is $100,000 per year, if 10% of that goes toward the premium, that means the other 90% is directed toward your paid up additions rider, which in our overview video, we covered this, that the PUA rider results in maximizing the cash value. Now, a side note to the high early cash value product. There are a handful of companies out there that offer this type of product with the base premium. If you saw the last video with a traditional whole life insurance product, the pay to 100, how much of the base premium showed up in cash value in the first year and the second year, especially when you're looking at the guarantees? 0. Nothing did. If you're looking at the non-guarantees, 0 showed up in cash value in the first year. There's a big difference with the high early cash value product. With the high early cash value product, you will see from premium dollars, the first year cash value is going to be approximately 80%. So for example, in the scenario where you pay $100,000 per year, if it's 100% base premium, you'll see very close to $80,000 in year 1 cash value. So the question then becomes is, okay, well, if I reduce the premium here and put more toward PUAs, what's the difference in first year cash value, but more importantly, long term? And if I really want to look under the hood, what's it look like when I examine the guaranteed values? So let's have some fun here. We'll begin with scenario A. Like the last video, we're going to take a look at the detailed illustrations just so we can see where our money is going, because that is the $100,000 question in this video. All right. So what we've got here is as follows. Annual outlay, $100,000. Where's your money going? Because it can go where? Toward the premium or toward our PUA rider. This is the 100% premium example, so the PUA rider is nowhere to be found. Our premium, $100,000. Now, unlike the traditional whole life insurance product, there's that approximate 80% right out of the gates. It also purchases you a sizable death benefit, doesn't it? About $5.7 million. Now, if you look at that and say, hey, I'm interested in the cash value, that's why I'm doing this. What's beneficial to be aware of with respect to the death benefit is that it has a direct relationship to this guy, your MEC limit. That's that taxable line on a life insurance policy. I would check out the above video if you'd like to understand that further. But here's where this can be beneficial in a scenario like this. If this is you and you're paying $100,000 per year toward the premium, and you have a policy with a $280,000 MEC limit, that means you can pay a total of $282,000 per year. That includes your premium, by the way. So let's pretend this column is a PUA rider. That means if my MEC limit's 282 and I'm already funding 100 in premium, well, then I could throw another 182 into PUAs for a total of 282 per year. So one upside to a design like this is that I have more MEC space. One potential upside. I would not recommend this. If someone was working with us and said, hey, Steve, I'm considering these policies. I've already got an agent. I just want to hire you to help with more consulting and guide me in the right direction as far as maximizing the cash value, I would not go with a design like this. Of course, I would have several questions to make sure I understand exactly what you're trying to accomplish, but this design would likely not be the case. But this does represent a $100,000 base premium design. And there's your break-even point. Just about year 10, You've paid in a total of $1 million and you have $990,000, $999,000. So keep that in mind, the year 10 mark. Let's look at the exact same policy, but option B, where we will have 50% of our payment directed toward the premium and the other 50% directed toward the PUA rider. So here's your premium, a little bit higher than 50% just to prevent a long-term MEC in this particular example. And then here's your PUA rider. So 51-49 split, I said close enough. If you really want a 50-50, reach out to us and we can send one. It will depend on your age and such. I might need to add a touch of term. But anyway, what do you notice here? What are some differences? Let's start with the death benefit this time. Death benefit's lower. If you fall in the neighborhood where you say, I don't care about the death benefit, why is it so high? Well, what's good to be aware of is that the death benefit has a direct relationship to the MEC limit. Always good to keep that in mind, $150,000. So, like the last example, I've got my premium here. That means how much more can I add in PUAs? Another 50,000. And actually, in red, this is not my full premium because this outlay includes the $51,000 premium and then the $49,000 PUA. So, a lot of details. What's the bottom line? Well, first year, look at this. Instead of about $80,000 in cash value, you've got $87,000. So you get 7% more value by designing the policy in this manner. 7% value immediately. We're not even looking at long term yet. We will compare them side by side. What about the break-even point? Last example was year 10. Now you are year 7. So more upfront, you recapture your capital sooner, looks better there. And often the goal here is how do I maximize value? Because if my intent is to use the cash value, well, if I've got more value, that gives me more money to what? To use for other opportunities and such. Fun stuff, right? So here we go. Here's our 1090 design. So now we've got 10% of our payment allocated toward the premium, 90% toward PUAs. Here we go. Total of 100. Here's your premium. Here's your PUA rider. We also have a term insurance rider attached. Purpose of a term is to raise the death benefit at the lowest cost possible, which if you said, I don't care about the death benefit, what's the purpose in raising the death benefit? It has a direct relationship to that. MEC limit just over $100,000 in an example where we are illustrating $100,000 per year. We're illustrating it for 25 years, up until the age of 65. So that's a total of what? $2.5 million we see going into funding here. Does he have to pay that much if we show it on an illustration? No, he does not. There's the premium that he's committed to. So what a lot of people like to do here, set a policy up where they can fund $100K per year, and they may continue to do that, but now they know if this happens, which frankly happens to everyone in one way or another, this gives them a lot of flexibility to be able to scale their payments down and not feel like they have this huge burdensome bill, which is what people want to avoid. If we look at the bottom line here, look at this. You're at 92% in the first year. It's a non-MEC. Beautiful. Break-even point between 4 and 5. So we're getting more value up front by reducing the premium and redirecting funds toward the PUA rider. So a lot of times when we build these policies, when we're working with someone, the question is not always how much do you want to fund a policy with. Many people know, they say, here's my number. But if you're not quite there, a word I like to throw in there is ability. Instead of how much do you want to fund the policy with, how much would you like the ability to fund the policy with? Because if we throw that word in there, ability to fund a policy with, if it's $100K per year, and you think that you could hit that some years, perhaps all of them, but you don't want to commit to it, well now, we've got that minimum premium at 10%, so you can commit to a minimal amount and have the ability to add more discretion. Now, flexibility is very important when we look at company selection and such. which that's a whole nother topic. I would check out any of our videos that go through flexibility. With that said, let's look at a comparison of the three examples side by side. And let's begin with the non-guaranteed values, which is exactly what we just saw. So on the left, we've got the $100,000 per year example, all base premium. So first year, you pay in 100 grand. What do you have in cash value? 80%, 79.97. Break-even point, just about year 10 when we look at it. Let's look at the 50-50 design. Break-even point, year 7. And let's look at the last one. So as we look at these, well, we can scroll down here. You'll see that the example with 100% base premium is not attractive at all. So we're just going to blank it out to make life easy when we compare and contrast. So what we're going to look at here is the difference in cash value and death benefit with the 1090 design compared to the 50-50. Which one gives you more value? That's the question. And let's look at both the cash value and the death benefit, because that's beneficial to do. Right out of the gates, you've got more cash value with the 1090. And this again is based on the non-guaranteed values we just looked at. As we scroll down, what do we notice? Well, what's interesting with this particular design is that the death benefit is slightly more with the 50-50 design all the way through. However, the cash value is not the case. And if we go a little bit longer, you might see it eventually flip, but we're at 100 years old there. If you'd like to see it longer, let us know. Most people are okay if we stop at 100. Here we go. If cash value is the goal, you see more value from start to finish here. And this is based on the current dividend rate. Let's look at the guarantees. This will be fun. So the 100% base premium example, when's your break even? 29 years. So granted, it is a high early cash value policy, we still have the same issue that when we put a large amount of money toward the premium, we see slower cash value growth, especially based on the guaranteed values. Let's look at the 50-50 design. Here we go. So based on the guarantees, what do we see? Break-even point, 18 years. You've paid in 1.8, you have 1.8. By reducing the premium and allocating more money to PUAs, you see a stronger guaranteed cash value. How about the minimum base premium? I'm going to get rid of the 100%. So what do we see here? Cash value difference. More right out of the gates. What if we scroll down? Same thing. That's what's beneficial to see. And I'll say this, looking at the guarantees is not something you want to do, or looking at the non-guaranteed values based on the present dividend rate is something you can look at to set expectations properly. There's different statements that can be made, or different things that can be used to persuade someone to look at a certain column on a life insurance illustration. Here's what I would look at. I would look at both the guaranteed and non-guaranteed values. You can also request what is referred to as a midpoint values column, which shows a conservative dividend between the guaranteed rate and the current dividend rate. But this allows you to see the different options, and then you can make a decision based on your comfort level. Now, getting information on how companies and products have actually performed can help you with that decision. But personally, if I can see the different options first and begin to refine my decision-making process, that'll help. I don't want to just be told about a certain option, or be told to only look at one side or section of an illustration, and then after the fact, not be shown something that maybe I would have wanted to have seen. That's the kind of stuff we want to avoid. So let's wrap this one up with this, some commission awareness, shall we? So the high early cash value product is much different from an agent commission standpoint than a traditional policy. Because the company is crediting more cash value up front, specifically based on the base premium dollars, they're going to pay out a lesser commission rate. So let's do this. High early cash value commission. So let's take a look here. High early cash value, and this is based on our rates here. So the 100% base premium example, which we can drop the cash values in here. You know what, let's use the guarantees. 100K. all the commissions. Here's our annual commission. So this is what the agent would be paid every year. And then here's the total compensation, which tallies up each annual commission. So in this example, a total of almost $150,000 is paid to the agent. Let's paste that in here. And again, this is the high early cash value product. Do you remember what the traditional one paid in the first year? It was about 93.5%. So big difference, much higher cash value up front with a traditional policy. But over time, works out to be about the same. Let's look at the 50/50 design. And then technically, that was what? A $51,000 premium, not a 50. So let's make sure we are fair. There we go. This will rebalance the PUAs. We can drop the updated cash value and death benefit figures in if we want, but if we won't in this example, because it doesn't really matter, we're just going for the commissions. Here we go. So there's the total over 10 years. Is there a difference? Yeah, there is. And then let's look at that 1090 example. You can see when you cut the premium in half, commission almost got cut in half. We had a $10,000 base premium in that example. You can get that from the illustration. And there you go. So we see a pattern there, which makes 100% sense. If you're reducing the commission to the agent, the company is paying out less commission to the agent, but then we've got more juice in the cash value because we're allocating more money toward PUAs, which do pay lesser commissions, but they show up in cash value. I hope that made sense. I hope this entire video made sense. Let us know if you have any questions or comments. Feel free to leave them below. And as always, I hope this helps. Thanks so much. Hey guys, Steve here with IBC Global. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you're interested in a whole life insurance policy and you'd like to work with our company in setting it up, please visit our website, ibcglobalinc.com. We would love to work with you. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, I hope this helps.